My neighbor's 10-year-old son ripped up his own mother's secret plan to destroy my daughter's birthday, right in front of the entire block. What he shouted next made every parent gasp and turned our whole community against the HOA forever. Blue balloons brushed maple branches over Larkhaven Court while the inflatable castle thumped like a heartbeat. Then Karen, clipboard high, marched across the sidewalk and said, "Shut it down." Her voice cut through the music. Noise. Liability. HOA Rule 12C. Marlo, my birthday girl, froze mid-bounce, tiara sliding. The blower hummed like it knew we were cornered. I was 50 then, older now, telling this decades later from a kitchen that finally feels safe. But that day, shame rose like heat off August asphalt. Karen's 10-year-old, Calder, hovered behind her, skinny and pale, gripping a folded flyer. He wouldn't meet my eyes, just watched his mother like she was a storm. "It's her 7th birthday, Karen," I said. "We filed the notice." She smiled without warmth. "Denied. Wrong in color." The maple leaves stilled, like the whole block was listening. Neighbors drifted closer, Verity from number 11, Hugh from the corner, soft whispers, hard stares. Lemonade cups sweated on the folding table that read, 7 if sparkle, shit. "Pull the plug," Karen said, tapping her phone. "Or I call Borough Patrol." Somewhere, a siren stirred, curious. Marlo crawled to the flap and whispered, "Daddy?" My fingers touched the cord, not surrender, just time. Before we continue, please drop a like and comment below with your country and what time it is right now where you're watching. Whether it's sunrise in Australia, midnight in New York, afternoon in Canada, or evening in France, I want to know. Don't just sit back, tell me where in the world you are. Now, let's dive into the story. Calder tugged Karen's sleeve. "Mom, please." She flicked his hand away without looking. The blower droned like a dare. Calder's flyer slipped under the castle wall. Marlo scooped it up, eyes skating the page, mouth opening wider and wider, like she'd found a snake beneath the tarp. She read the title out loud, voice shaking, and every parent on Larkhaven Court turned toward Karen so fast the balloons shivered on their strings. Larkhaven Family Jubilee, hosted by Compliance Chair Karen, Marlo read. 2 bigger bounce castles were pictured. Cotton candy too. The date? Next weekend. Approved and stamped in municipal blue. Calder's voice cracked. "You said bounce houses are dangerous." He stepped out from her shadow. "You said only ours breaks rules because Dad embarrassed you at budget night." Karen snatched at the paper. Marlo hugged it like treasure. Verity squinted at the footer. "Approved by board. Stamp last week." My stomach flipped like a loose flag. Calder swallowed. "She used Mr. Lamson's stamp. She keeps it in the junk drawer." Karen hissed, "Calder." He shook, but the words wouldn't go back inside. The blower grew louder, like it wanted the truth. Hugh lifted his phone to record. Even the cupcakes looked worried, frosting peaks leaning, sprinkles staring. A patrol cruiser rolled in quiet. Officer Julep leaned out. "Noise complaint." Karen flashed a porcelain smile. "Thank goodness. They're violating several rules and frightening pets and infants." Julep glanced at the flyer. "You filed this." Karen's shoulders stiffened. "Separate circumstance." Calder raised his hand. "She stamped it, not the board." Eyebrows rose around the circle. "Children invent stories." Karen laughed, brittle. Calder's fists balled. "I'm not lying." He reached for the plug, then stopped. "Mum, tell the truth." Julep's hand rested near her radio. Karen reached for Calder's wrist. He yanked free. "Don't touch me like yesterday." The air snapped. The block inhaled. The siren that had been far away was coming closer. Julep stepped out, boots quiet. "Everyone to the sidewalk," she said evenly. "And nobody touches the equipment." But someone already had, because the castle's right turret sagged an inch. We moved to 418 Larkhaven Court, Wexford Township, after the steel fab plant shuttered. My sister, Delaney, covered the deposit and said, "You'll rebuild. Start with neighbors." Karen arrived with brownies and bylaws. "Compliance keeps property values pretty," she announced. Calder peeked from behind her knees like a rabbit that had learned not to run. Delaney whispered later, "She hoards power like vintage spoons." I joked then. But at budget night I asked where the playground funds went, and Karen turned beet red. After that, our mailbox leaned. Our recycling appeared in a community email with red circles like crime photos. "She's testing your backbone," Delaney said. Marlo learned patience at the swings. Money was thin as paper. I took overtime at the sheet metal shop, came home smelling like tin and onions. The bounce house was Hope rented by the hour. That same week, a gold-ribboned announcement. Jubilee. Fireworks. Biggest bounce castles in Triborough County. Delaney arched a brow. Guess safety depends on who's selling cotton candy. I tried kindness. Mom always said it's cheaper than grudges. But kindness without spine just attracts wolves. Calder watched, absorbing every contradiction like summer rain into cracked walk. That morning, Marlo tied banners. 7 means brave, she said. Verity strung lights. Hugh brought chairs. The cul-de-sac glittered like carnival glass and smelled like sunscreen, sugar, and cut grass. At noon, Karen texted, "Reminder, unsanctioned equipment prohibited." I replied with our filed notice. She sent a single thumbs down, a digital sneer. And now the sirens were fading as Julep faced her. "Did you stamp that Jubilee, ma'am?" Karen's throat moved, once, like a swallowed word. Karen's smile was a locked gate. "The board stamped it," she said. Julep looked to Calder. "Son." He nodded, trembling. "She stamped it after hours." Mr. Lamson was asleep. Lamson, the board secretary, padded over in slippers, blinking. He saw the flyer and went colorless. "My stamp's missing." Karen laughed too loud. "Clerical mix-up. It happens." Julep's pen hovered. "Today's complaint is noise." Karen pointed at the blower. "Rule 12C, motorized disturbances." She stabbed a finger toward the flap where Marlo's tiara glittered. The maple dimmed the yard like a theater. "It's my birthday," Marlo said, standing small and fierce. Calder looked at the grass and whispered, "I tried telling her earlier." "Tell me now," Julep said, soft but iron. Calder swallowed. "She said nobody invited us because Dad questioned dues. She told me to make complaint calls so they'd stop." Lamson blinked. "We don't target children. We target violations," Karen snapped. Delaney stepped beside me, voice level. "Then target yourself." Julep's pen stopped, midair, like a held breath. Marlo passed Julep the flyer. "Waivers on site," it read. "Sponsored by compliance." Julep's jaw set. "Everyone to the curb. Kids buy the lemonade." Karen's smile developed cracks. Hugh whispered, "Posting this," and the neighborhood reshaped. Whispers clustering, loyalties shifting. Calder moved toward me, small and brave. "I'm sorry about the calls." "Tell everything," I said. He didn't flinch. "She told me to pull your holiday lights last winter and blame raccoons." Gasps rippled like wind through flags. Karen lunged. "Calder William." The blower coughed, then stuttered. The castle bowed as if kneeling. Julep spun. "Hands off." But a hand already had Calder's, reaching for the cord again, daring his mother. "Calder, don't," I said, stepping between him and the cord. He stared past me at Karen. "Then say it. Tell them why you hate their parties." Karen laughed a thin ribbon. "This is about rules." Delaney folded her arms. "Then why forge a stamp?" Lamson swallowed. "That's a third-degree misdemeanor if proven." Karen's gaze flicked to every phone recording. She calculated like a cashier. "We were excluded. They exclude us." Calder took a breath. "We were invited. You said we weren't." Silence hardened. Calder lifted the flyer's corner. Taped beneath it was another paper, Marlo's pink invitation with glitter glue and crooked stars. Verity's mouth fell open, mine did too. "You took that from our mailbox?" I asked. Karen blinked slowly, the way people do when the ground shifts. "Mail slot," she said. "Not a federal mailbox." Julep's radio hissed. She kept it holstered. Ma'am stepped back. Karen didn't. Instead, she grabbed Calder's shoulder too hard, and he flinched like he'd been there before. "Don't touch me," he said louder. "You don't like fun you can't control." The words hit like a plank. The block, you could feel it, tilted away from Karen. Marlowe, brave at 7, held out the lemonade cup. "Want some?" Calder shook his head, eyes shining. "I want her to stop lying." He faced Julep. "Can I show you?" He pointed not to the plug, but to Karen's tote. Inside, the municipal stamp, a folded complaint list, and a printed sheet, exact times to call about noise. Julep looked up. "Ma'am, I need to speak with you beside my cruiser." Karen hesitated, then finally released Calder. He exhaled like a kid surfacing from deep water. While Julep walked Karen to the cruiser, the neighborhood breathed again. Kids returned to the snack table, stealing grapes. Adults whispered like we were in church. Delaney brushed crumbs from Marlowe's dress. "You okay, Spark?" "I'm brave," she answered, chin up. She was right. Kids see the shape of truth first. Lamson pinched the bridge of his nose. "I should have kept that stamp locked. I thought we were better than this." "We will be," I said, hoping aloud. Calder stood alone at the maple trunk, staring at the castle. I brought him a napkin and a cookie. He held the napkin like it might be evidence. "I'm sorry about the calls," he said. She said it was justice. I nodded. Adults say a lot of things when they're scared. He nodded back, older suddenly. The blower evened out, steady again. Verity checked the seams. "No tears," she reported. Hugh zoomed his phone on Karen by the cruiser, Julep talking, Karen shrinking. "Can we still bounce?" Marlowe asked. I looked at Julep. She lifted 2 fingers, 1 minute. It felt like a treaty about to be signed. Karen's eyes found Calder. Anger and something else, panic, flickered there. She mouthed words he didn't read. He was reading the neighborhood instead, seeing who'd chosen him. Julep returned. "Here's what happens," she said. "Equipment stays. Volume down after 5. Investigation into the stamp and false reports continues." Relief loosened my spine. Then Calder stepped toward his mother. "I have to say something, Mom." Every porch light in daylight felt like it clicked on at once. Calder's voice carried. "Mom, you said they hated us." "They don't. You hate losing." Karen's jaw worked. "We will not do this. We already are," he said, shaking. He pulled the complaint schedule from her tote and held it up. "You told me to use my voice." He ripped it down the middle. The neighborhood murmured. "You told me friends are leverage," he continued. "You made me hang up when Nico called. You said fun is for followers." He nodded at the castle. Julep's face didn't move, but her eyes softened. "Calder," she said quietly, "thank you." Karen took a step. Julep lifted a palm, stopping her like a door. Delaney squeezed my arm. "That kid is saving himself." I believed it, felt it. The blower hummed like quiet thunder that wanted to be applause. "Can I bounce with Marlowe?" Calder asked. The question broke something brittle in all of us. "Yes," I said. "Please." Karen's breath hitched. Control was slipping like gravel. Calder turned to her. "You can come too." The invitation startled me. It startled everyone. But grace often startles first. Karen shook her head, lips tight. "We are leaving," she said, but she didn't move. The block held its breath like a choir waiting for the downbeat. Calder stepped into the castle and offered a hand to Marlowe. She took it. They bounced once, small, testing, like 2 kids checking if the floor still loved them. Karen stared, color blotting her cheeks. "Calder, she said. He didn't. He bounced again. And then the truly shocking thing happened, the one people still whisper about. Calder jumped high, then dropped to his knees and bowed toward his mother. "I'm sorry I believed you over everyone," he said. "I'm done being your helper against neighbors." No one clapped. It wasn't a clapping moment. It was a hearts falling out of armor moment. Even Karen's posture softened, confusion cracking through habit. He stood and faced the block. "Please stop calling her Karen," he said. "That makes her meaner." We blinked, chastened by a 10-year-old with better manners than us. Karen's mouth opened, closed. "You made me the joke," she told me, but her voice lacked gasoline. "You did," Calder replied gently. Every time you lied. Julep nodded to me. I nodded back. Karen, Julep said carefully, you and I will talk with Mr. Lamson and the borough solicitor tomorrow. It sounded like a door closing. Delaney whispered, let them bounce. So I did. Music back on, softer, laughter unfolding like clean sheets. The day resumed around the dent we'd all seen. Karen sat on the curb. For the first time, she looked small. Verity set a lemonade beside her without speaking. Kindness with spine, maybe that's what neighborhoods need. Calder bounced till the ache left him. Marlowe matched his jumps. Sunlight quilted the vinyl, shadows from the maples stitched everything together again. I caught Karen glancing up at her son, fear, loss, maybe love, like a woman who'd finally found the mirror she'd avoided. Then Hugh cleared his throat. One more thing, he said, turning his screen toward us. Security cam from last winter. About those raccoons who ate the holiday lights. On Hugh's screen, a grainy figure tugged my string lights, then tucked the strand neatly into a tote. No claws, no mask, just a neat human shape in a puffy coat. Karen didn't deny it. Her shoulders caved. I was angry, she said, voice small. Anger is expensive, Delaney answered. It charges compound interest. Lamson cleared his throat. The board will hold an emergency session. A new vote with minutes. We'll publish the playground budget and the Jubilee permits. Transparency, finally. Julep set a card in Karen's palm. We'll be in touch about the stamp. Karen stared at it like it weighed 100 pounds. Calder left the castle and sat beside his mother. He didn't touch her hand, but he sat there. That counted. It counted more than anyone expected. Marlowe ran over with 2 cupcakes. One for your mom, she told Calder, and one for you because you were brave. He blinked hard and nodded thanks. I crouched to Marlowe's height. 7 means brave, I said. She grinned, frosting across her mouth. Daddy, can he stay for presents? Calder heard and almost smiled. Karen watched the 2 of them and whispered, I don't know how to start over. Delaney said, start with telling the truth. Then show up tomorrow and tell it again. The blower purred steady as a good apology. The block's shoulders dropped an inch, like everybody set down a grocery bag they'd been hauling too long. And then, because life likes symbols, the castle's lights flickered back to full. The maple leaves clapped. Someone laughed first. Then all of us did, even Karen. Decades have passed. I'm older, softer around the middle, wiser about ink colors and neighbors. Marlowe sends photos of her own kids beneath different trees and bluer balloons. Karen moved 2 streets over after the board election. She came back sometimes for block sales, fewer rules in her hands each year, more lemonade in her cup. Calder grew into a kid who coaches little ones to climb the castle wall feet first so they don't roll ankles. He still bows sometimes, joking to make them giggle. Lamson keeps the stamp in a safe now. Minutes are posted. Budgets read like grocery lists you can believe. Playgrounds get mulch before meetings get muffins. Delaney says spines get stronger when they're used kindly. She's right. That day taught me kindness isn't surrender. It's a gate that opens only when people tell the truth. I still remember the moment Calder chose the neighborhood over the noise in his life. Small hands, honest voice, a boy rewriting his story with 10 words and courage. We kept the cord plugged in. We kept the music low. We kept the children laughing while the adults learned how to be better neighbors in broad daylight. Sometimes I walk past 418 and the maple waves like it remembers us. I think it does. Trees hold gossip differently than people. They keep what heals. If you were there, you remember the shock. Not a fight, not a punch, not a dramatic arrest, but a child asking his mother to tell the truth. And the whole block hearing it and changing parties, policies, and hearts, because a 10-year-old decided we didn't need another rule. We needed one brave sentence.